Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of On Deck with the Ketts. Brooke Killgore alongside my two guys in the box, Chris Albright and Connor Schuh, and we have an esteemed guest here with us today. We are so honored and ready to welcome Rylee Pay back to the Cape in theory, although we're still on Zoom here. Rylee, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys. This is anytime that I get to talk about the Cape, I love it. It's some of the best memories that I have. So super pumped to talk to you guys.
We're so excited to have you. If you're just tuning in, Rylee Pay was your sideline reporter for one season out there in the Cape and also got to call some games in the box as well. That's how she got her start, which has led her to being the first woman to call a Triple-A baseball game just this season.
Left field racing over, diving for it is Davis. What a play by the left fielder in his debut.
Rylee, we'd love to know a little bit. How's it going out there in Tacoma?
It's the best. Yeah, my start came from the Cape, and I'm sure that we'll talk more about that throughout this episode. But for me, play-by-play wasn't initially on the radar, so it's been really exciting to see my career trajectory kind of change from my time in the Cape League just a few seasons ago, and all the experience that I was able to gain out there alongside some really fantastic talent. So I attribute so much to the Cape and all the experience that I had there that helped me get to where I am now. So currently with the Tacoma Rainiers, the AAA affiliate of the Seattle Mariners, in my first season with them as their new broadcast voice, and it's been such a thrill already. It's a fantastic system. I was right before this with the Boston Red Sox, with their AA affiliate, and love the East Coast as well. I have so many great things to say about that system, but it's been really fun being out on the West Coast again, close to where I'm from, and it's been a really fun start to the season.
How's the weather been out there? Has it been super rainy or has it been kind of kind to you?
Not bad, actually. I was a little bit skeptical just because I am from Vegas, so I can count on one hand how many times it rains a year. But the rain has really not been that bad at all. It's just a little bit of a drizzle here and there, but I'm really excited. We're kind of in the clear now in the next couple weeks where summer is starting to roll around, and I've heard the best things about how there's no better place to play from our manager. So I'm pumped to see all the summer vibes, and just baseball out there is going to be really fun.
Well, you've been in the minors for a couple of seasons now, and I feel like you always hear about the grind of it from players, but what's it like from the broadcasting side, just having games almost every single day?
Yeah, I think for me, that's actually one of my favorite parts of baseball, and why I wanted to work in it is just because of the long season and how you get to kind of see the transition of a team throughout 100 plus games. It's not going to be the same at the start or the finish. So you get to see those storylines just develop throughout the course of a season, and you get so many opportunities to watch great baseball, but also just to hone in on your skills as a broadcaster and have that opportunity over several months to tangibly see your growth. So I think that's one of my favorite parts of the season, but you're spot on in the sense that it is a really long season. So you definitely adapt to this different style of living out of a suitcase, if you would. You get really good at packing really quick because in the minors you play 6-game series now, which is fantastic for a lot of reasons, but you do get really good at packing your suitcase very meticulously. So it's a different lifestyle, and one that not a lot of people ever experience, which is really cool just to have that insight. But from a broadcast perspective as well, and working with a team throughout the season, it also kind of endears you to what they sacrifice and how they live just to pursue their dreams, and what they have to kind of adapt to it and sacrifice for sure to be able to live this way. So it is a grind. I think that's the word is spot on, but it's a blast and wouldn't change it for the world.
So in the minor leagues, you hear all about the zany stuff that typically only happens in minor league baseball, whether it be players getting called up mid-game or travel stories gone awry or those wonky promotional nights. You're now becoming a veteran in the minor league system, AA spot, AAA spot. What's been something that's just you couldn't prepare for it whatsoever, that just screamed, this is minor league baseball?
I would say Portland was fantastic for that specifically. We had so many fun alternate identities. I think that is like at the forefront. Something that stands out about minor league baseball is just all the fun promos and different identities that they roll out throughout the season. So for me, I think last season, getting to experience the last 2 seasons, the main whoopie pies is
Are you still there, Rylee?
I was going to say, I think she's frozen on my end too.
Oh no.
Last thing I heard was
No,
whoopie
she's
pies.
gone.
Oh,
no.
Answer on behalf of her.
Well, I guess we'll never know what the fun thing was with the Sea Dog. Jeez.
This screams minor league baseball. There you go.
This
is gonna be one of the stories that she tells. Just trying to do an interview in a minor league ballpark and just couldn't do it.
Goes out.
That's the cereal. I love it.
This is actually like carnitas and mac and cheese.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll put this in the video. This is fun.
Ooh, are you kind of the chef?
This, I mean, I'm
A few minutes later.
Do we know what we're gonna be eating this summer?
No idea.
I'm not
Like, do we have to cook our own
well,
food?
that's
I think so.
I don't know if I can
Welcome
cook my
back.
own food.
thought this Wi-Fi was good in the booth. That's why I figured this would be the great place to do it. We've had good Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden, here we are. I think the promos are something that stick out that you touched on just there. It's kind of synonymous with minor league baseball, all the alternate identities that they roll out every day. And Portland was a fantastic spot for that reason. They have a lot of fun identities that they roll out throughout the season that kind of go hand in hand with some of the cuisine that makes the culture of Maine really interesting. So for me, the last couple seasons, getting to be a part of the Maine Whoopie Pies, which was one of our alternates. They take the field as the Whoopie Pies for one night only, and it is a time every year. So one of the seasons that I was in Portland, they set a Guinness World Record for the longest consecutive line of Whoopie Pies. That is still a standing Guinness World Record now. And with that, it's just fun to kind of get that incorporated into your broadcast. That was something that was so important when I was in Maine with Emma Tiedemann. So many great things that I can go on and on about with her, but that was really fun, where we thought that we should, in a sense, incorporate it into the broadcast. And so we taste tested a whoopie pie every inning throughout the 9 innings. And so that you can't prepare for because it's super sweet. So definitely take a stop to the dentist after that. But it was a lot of fun, and just those little quirks of minor league baseball that make it really special and fun for the community. I think the minor leagues are just so unique in the sense that they kind of bind the community together and just make it really special for fans. So for me, probably that, I think, from a promo standpoint, but you see something different on the field every day, which is just a blast.
Kind of transitioning a little bit here, of course, growing up in Nevada, you have a couple minor league teams out there. You've got the Las Vegas Aviators, the Reno Aces, affiliated with my Diamondbacks, of course. But I want to know kind of a little bit more about what got you into baseball and what major league team were you supporting growing up?
Very untraditional, one that you wouldn't guess, and one that a lot of people in Las Vegas didn't understand either. But I grew up watching the Orioles. My dad's from the East Coast, so I was an O's fan growing up, and patience was the name of the game for sure. But definitely one of those fans that you stick with it until they get over the hump. So still an O's fan. At my core, it's kind of my early memories of just watching those games. But for me, getting into baseball, I think I just enjoyed it as a fan from an early age. It was a part of my summers. It was fun for me to just kind of watch my grandpa keep score in a scorebook, and he was a Twins fan. So it was just fun for me to kind of have it as that connecting force in my family. And I just loved going to games. It was relaxing to me. It still is, just to go and sit and watch a game. Like sometimes I will just alone because it's therapeutic. So for me, I knew that if you can work in something like that, that is just such a fun source of joy for you, then that's what I wanted to do. So originally, actually, went into school thinking I wanted to be a sports agent, took accounting classes and decided it wasn't for me quickly after that. And so transitioned really early my freshman year to the broadcasting program, and all kind of took off from there. I entered with the Northwoods League prior to the Cape, where I was an on-field MC and marketing intern, and that was kind of where I had the peak in interest of broadcast. I asked to shadow our radio broadcasters, went on a trip with them, and told my coordinators at UNLV that it was interesting to me, and so they said, once you get back, like, we'll get you in the student radio and let's run with it. So that's exactly what I did. I went back and interned with UNLV Athletics with their SID for the baseball team, and got to do everything: PA announcing, graphics, social, you name it, and student radio as well. So from there, obviously the Cape League is so prestigious on its own. I had a lot of friends that played baseball that had mentioned that the Cape is the place to be, and definitely something fun to intern for. So started applying for that internship, and was super fortunate to get to go out there. Originally I kind of applied as the team reporter, and then from there it all took off. They tabled the idea, Leah Ridpath and Glenn Weir, and asked if I would be open to doing the play-by-play as well and adding that extra voice in the booth. And I never say no to an opportunity, even if it scares me a little bit. So I said yes and started teaching myself, sending off tapes to broadcasters in Vegas. And in the back of my mind, I knew that it was coming, that I would get to do it out there. But I'll never forget the summer day in Orleans. It was game 2 of the doubleheader, where Tim Crowley and Jake Starr turned to me and said, "You take the 3rd inning on play-by-play." And so if that's ever been the case, you know that it's a little terrifying to just kind of be thrown into the fire like that. But I always say that it was trial by fire, and the challenge hooked me. After that, I knew that I could get so much better at it, and I wanted to. And I knew that just the challenge of it, of kind of rewiring your brain, retraining your brain to think in a different way, and to think on the spot like that, was something really fun. And the challenge is what hooked me, for sure.
And after Tim and Jake asked you if you wanted to do that 3rd inning, was there a point where you were broadcasting where it kind of just clicked with you, where you're like, all right, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
After the first time I did it, probably not. After the first initial inning, I was like, holy cow, this is tough, you know? And so I think it was a progressional thing for me, where, like I said, it was just that initial challenge where I was like, okay, I've done it now, and like, I can do it so much better than this, and I want to prove it to myself that I can continue to get better at it. So I would say after that, initially I was like, whoa, and then from there it just really, it kind of hooked me because of that, where I felt that it's just such a unique job where you really will be able to see tangible growth every single day, even inning to inning, pitch to pitch. There's not a way that you can't improve when you're doing it that much. So yeah, I would say after the initial shock of the difference, I was like, okay, let's roll. Let's take the bull by the horns and let's do it. So it was really fun.
You kind of talk about seeing that tangible growth, and I don't want to toot your own horn, but for you, it is very tangible. You see a lot of these news outlets just share your story. Yeah, I mean, and it's great because it shows a lot of people who want to follow in your footsteps. Yes, this is a very real thing. So how has that been to not just be, progressing in your own career, but also paving a path for so many others?
Yeah, I think when people ask me about it, it's something that at its forefront, like, certainly it is untraditional, and you realize that when you're a part of those big moments. And I think that's when it really hit me, when you're a part of the first, getting to have the opportunity to broadcast alongside Emma Tiedemann, simply just looking at different options across the minor league landscape. Before I graduated, I knew I wanted to work in baseball, but for me, seeing that opening, I just looked at it and thought to myself, she's such a talented broadcaster, male or female, just point blank, she's very good. And so I just want to learn from her, and go and just pick her brain and learn from her expertise. So for me, going out there, I didn't realize that it was such a big deal, in the sense that it was the first all-female AA booth. It was never the reason why I wanted to go and learn from her, So you realize it after the fact, when you're a part of those moments, that wow, this is crazy that it's the first time that this has happened. And then it continues, even being a part of a Red Sox broadcast last season alongside Emma was so cool as well. And having that be the first time that women have called a game for the Red Sox. It's just cool when you get to be a part of those moments and you realize the magnitude of it from there. Because for me growing up, like I said, I was an Orioles fan. So I turned on the TV a few summers ago when I was in Wisconsin with the Northwoods League, and Melanie Newman was making her MLB debut. So after that, it didn't seem abnormal to me, where I'd seen a woman do it. And so it just seemed like if it's been done, then it can be normal. So I've been fortunate to be around so many great coaches and players and just coordinators and bosses that never treated me different or made it seem like it was abnormal. And so I think for me, it has been through that media attention where you realize that it is a little bit different, but from the inside and internally, just been surrounded by so many great people in this game. And I think that just speaks volumes as to why baseball is just the best, and the people that work in it.
You mentioned the magnitude and the impact that you started to realize you had on others. And as a sideline reporter, you got to tell a lot of really impactful stories. Can you tell us a little bit about a moment where you shared a story with the Cotuit community that you felt like had a really big impact?
Yeah, so there were a couple instances on the broadcast specifically where you get kind of more experience intertwining the stories with the play-by-play. I think that is such a great skill that you don't realize until you see other people do it. You're like, wow, that's pretty impressive that they can weave it like that. But there are so many stories across the Cape League, and especially Cotuit, just the storied legacy of that team specifically, and the 19 championships. Like, it speaks for itself, and just how much people care about that community, I think, is really special. So there were a lot of fun stories in the summer that I was there. It's hard to just name a few, but we had a 4-person broadcast team that summer as well. So there were a lot of opportunities where we were all kind of hands on deck, and Jenna Meyer that season as well did a good job just spearheading the sideline storytelling, if you would, throughout the broadcast. So it's hard to always pinpoint one because there are so many, but I think the people there just bring the baseball to life. Obviously you see the talent on the field, but the community is so special, and it's definitely what makes the summer really, really fun.
Anything on the field, off the field, in the booth, outside the booth, is there any memory that you look back on and you're like, that is just what embodies Cotuit? That's the best part of the summer?
I think 4th of July, once you guys get to experience that, it is so fun. The parade in the morning, you get to walk through the village with the team that's on these trucks, and they're like throwing candy for the kids, and just seeing all the fans that come and like line the streets and just rally around the team is so fun. Like, they are so invested, and it's just something that you can't get anywhere else, just how much people care about the team. So that's the best, where all the interns and the team, everybody walking down and by the coop and everything else in between. It's really fun. And then it continues throughout the day. There's like slip and slides where all the players were getting into it, our interns were getting into it, potato sack races, like all of the above, the fireworks after the game as well. It's just everything that you want in the summer day is the 4th of July on the Cape. So that's the best, and it'll be really fun when you guys get to that point too.
I was gonna, Connor almost stole my question. I was gonna say, what are some absolute like necessary things we need to be looking forward to out on Cotuit? So I guess I'll almost rephrase it. What are some of those things that you'll look back on and say, yes, that's kind of what I took away from the summer, like things you're still carrying from Cotuit into what you're doing today? It could be job related, it could be life related, maybe those relationships you made, but what is a part of Cotuit that's still with you today?
Everything, really. Like, especially in the minor league baseball scene, it's really cool to see the Cape connection of how many people are in the minors right now, and just having those relationships and getting to see everybody progress throughout the ranks as well at the same time. It's so fun. So from a personal standpoint, there are so many fun beaches out there that are really fun to explore. Pirates Cove is great. That is the Cape to a T, where you get to go out and mini golf and do that preseason. Fuller Cave, I think, is a unanimous favorite for everybody. If you can go post game, that's some really good ice cream, and a lot of people still talk about it to this day when I bump into them. Just so many fun things. It is just a blast. You're learning so much from a professional standpoint, but then you're also getting to experience just a really fun place for the summer. And just to the point of the relationships and things that I've taken with me. Even a couple weeks ago, we were in Albuquerque and got to see one of the players who was on the Cape team when I was in Cotuit, Ryan Ritter, seen Harrison Cohen out on the fall league, and just getting to bump in with all the players that you got to see right before they were drafted, and got to see them get drafted in July that year and go on and take on their professional dreams. It's really, really cool when you get to bump into people and see them now as you continue to advance in the minor leagues. And same goes for broadcast. Got to call a game with Steph Curry in the fall league a couple months ago, and so even though we weren't there at the same time, it's just fun to have that Cape connection of getting to just bump into everybody throughout the professional ranks as well.
I guess speaking of professional, is there a dream MLB team that you would want to say, hey, let's call this one?
I don't know. You know, I think I've had some great opportunities being around some really fun players and just good people throughout my time in the minors. And last year, we in the Red Sox system, we had Marcelo Meyer, who always would say this in interviews. He said he just, even though, like, of course, big leagues is the dream for him, like just being where your feet are. And I think that's so huge, especially for me too. It's just something that I've thought about it and definitely feel where I'm just really happy to be where I'm at and to be in such a great system and to have the opportunity to call baseball every day, because it is such a competitive industry and so many people want these jobs. So to be able to get to call this your job every day is really, really fun. So it was surreal for me though to be able to call a Boston Red Sox game, because especially thinking back to my time on the Cape when we had Fenway Day for the scouts to come and see the players. We also got to go out there as interns and record hits in the stands and just around different parts of Fenway. They just kind of let you go and let your creative vision come to life. So as a broadcast team, we all collectively put together a piece for that day, and it's funny now looking back on it where you see those clips where you're sitting in the grandstands at Fenway, and then fast forward a couple of seasons, you're sitting up in the booth and getting to call a Red Sox game. Was one of those pinch me moments. So I think that was a dream, to be able to call a Red Sox game as my MLB debut, if you would. I think it was just the best case scenario, and so full circle where you sit back and think about how fun it was.
Kind of closing up shop here on Deck with our episode with Rylee Pay. Really want to ask you this question as someone who's going to follow in your footsteps, hopefully this summer, and do just as good as you did. We really want to know, what is your biggest piece of advice for aspiring sportscasters and also the women who want to follow in your footsteps?
Well, you're so kind. I think for me, I actually got a card from our Portland Sea Dogs staffers a couple of weeks ago before I started my season here in AAA, and it was one of the best quotes I've seen. He said, "You have you don't have to fill any footsteps. It's your job to just create your own path." And I think that's huge, just to know that you as an individual will bring something to the table that nobody else can, and your perspective and your expertise is exactly what the people need. So not trying to really be somebody that you're not, or look too much and be hard on yourself. Just believe in yourself and know what you bring to the table, I think is huge. And just saying yes to opportunities. I think that's the biggest thing that I learned and have seen come to fruition from my time in the Cape is saying yes to things, even if they scare you a little bit, because you really never know where it could take you. And just having that experience of being just multifaceted and having lots of skills is so valuable to the sports landscape right now. The more that you can do, I think the more valuable you become in these positions down the line. So just say yes to opportunities. And also finally, a great piece of advice that I got from a professor at UNLV is just establish a great support system, because it's a different industry that not a lot of people are a part of. So it's just different and in the way that you live life and the lifestyle of it. So establish that support system that'll be with you through the peaks and the valleys. And for me, a lot of those people came from the Cape. My broadcast crew from that summer is still some of my best friends, and I get to talk with them all the time. We share broadcasts with each other, and different critiques and just exciting news, and then also the highs and lows. So it's so fun, and this will be a summer where you get to establish that, and it'll be people that you stay in touch with for life.
Alrighty, well, is there anything else you want to share with the Cotuit community as they get to watch this episode?
No, I think I'm just excited to be a part of it still. Any chance that I get to be a part of Cape content or getting to talk about my time at Cotuit is always the best. I have so many fond memories from my time there, and the village is so special. It's everything that the people say and more. So so fortunate to have gotten to experience that and still stay in touch with a lot of the host families out there, Leah, and everybody in between that make it all come to life. So they're the best, and definitely always fond memories of Cotuit, even years later. It's awesome.
All right. Well, for Rylee Pay, Chris Albright, and Connor Schuh, I've been Brooke Killgore. That is our latest episode of On Deck with the Ketts. You can catch the full episode on YouTube, and we'll hope to see you guys soon.